So this project came about after we took part in the Catalyst Programme last year, and then we decided that something that was relevant to the Catalyst Programme would be to talk about different forms of inequality in our society. So that's how the podcast came about.
We came about how we're going to approach the podcast and how that can have a positive impact in the society, and how people can take the messages that we're putting in the podcast and take something from it and make something useful out of it.
It's a podcast where we address inequalities in society, from sexism to Islamophobia.
Matilda was actually the one that came up with the genius title of Breaking the Barrier. A barrier refers to any social barrier in society and inequality, and we discuss it in each episode of our podcast. And in our first episode, we basically introduced ourselves, getting to know us, kind of discussing personal barriers that we faced. And the main objective of the podcast is to start a crack in the wall and to begin to break the barrier.
Sitting in that room and listening to them record their podcast, I was overwhelmed with awe. I just thought, my word, these ladies, the confidence that they're exuding, the conversations that they're happening, I felt empowered. If I feel like that, they are really going to impact the lives of young women around them, of young people around them.
I would have thought before that this was something I could never take part in, but actually getting the money and going forward with the project helped my confidence in just to believe in myself and to believe in my team.
Because of our team building, our work ethic and our communication skills within the group, every time we face any struggles, we have any problems, we share it with each other, and we're very understanding of each other.
We allocated each other roles. We have spokesperson, we have marketing, we have electronics, technical side, and we also have managing events like our launch event. So again, it does definitely feel like I have a job, and it's one of the most fulfilling feelings that I think I've ever had.
Catalyst lives up to its name. It has made us all leaders, and we have developed the skills that a leader needs. Mainly during the launch event, the skill that I needed most was public speaking, and Catalyst helped me develop those skills.
So today is the grand launch of our Breaking the Barrier podcast. We gave a few speeches. Ms. Zainab, our assistant head teacher, gave some speeches. I think it consolidated for students listening the fact that they have the power to also make social change happen.
Watching them stand up today in front of an audience and confidently articulate what they're thinking, what they're feeling, where they want to go, what the podcast means to them, how they are breaking those internal barriers, how they're hoping that that conversation will help others to break through their barriers. That was powerful.
Honestly, before the event, I was really nervous, especially about my speech. I thought that, what if I start stuttering, rumbling? When I looked at people's faces who were looking at me, I realized that they're looking at me with anything but judgment, and they're only looking at me with a lot of pride, and that made me feel just a lot of pride within myself.
And it was really nice to see our fellow students, senior prefects, helping out with everything and doing their best to make this launch event as special as it is to us.
Right now, I think we just feel proud and relieved that the launch event is over and the podcast is out and people will have the opportunity to listen to it.
I hope that the podcast that we're running, thanks to the Catalyst Programme, will become a legacy that we can pass on to Year 12 students in the school, and hopefully something that they can pass on, and so on and so forth.
As much as we are passionate about the barriers that we broke, hopefully they will also be passionately talking about the barriers that they broke and make a positive change within the society.
I would recommend the Catalyst Programme to others. You can become an inspiration to people and do things you never thought you'd have done before.
The best thing about the Catalyst Programme and even hosting this launch event was realising that failure is not the end of the world. Failure is a learning curve, but also no matter where you end up, you can thrive in that situation, in that environment. So I guess something I'd like to tell my future self is that no matter where you end up, you will excel, and it's all thanks to the Catalyst Programme and the Breaking the Barrier podcast that I can now tell myself that.
I'm not willing to be complacent anymore. I'm willing to use my voice and to stand up for the things that I want and for the things that I know are right. And I think because of Catalyst, I was able to more rediscover a part of myself. I always knew it was there, but I sort of buried it down, thinking that it's not what society would accept. And because of Catalyst, I was able to bring it back up again and embrace it. And because of that, yeah, my mindset has changed. I'm not willing to just give in to norms anymore. I'm willing to break those norms.